Hello, beautiful creators of a new reality. It's Hazel here. Today I'm going to talk to you about agoraphobia, being an introvert or an extrovert, and the impact of narcissistic abuse on all of these things. So this video is about the healing journey of narcissistic abuse. And I'm really glad to be speaking to you again. I'm out again in the woods and enjoying the sunshine. And I thought, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share about? What's the next step of the healing journey, okay? From me that I'm going through or that I have already been through. And what can I bring to offer you today? So today it's about agoraphobia, because I got thinking about how much I am changing on my journey after these last 2.5 years, and the profound steps in order to come out and to come back to the truth of who you are. I've made another video about this, about coming out, and I wanted to get a little bit deeper into agoraphobia because I find it fascinating when I think about who I became in the narcissistic abusive relationship and who I truly am, and that journey back to who I truly am. And part of that journey is obviously coming out of yourself, but sometimes that can mean actually coming out of your house, coming out of your room, coming out of your environment that you knew. So that can also mean coming out of the toxic environment, but that can also mean once you've found a safe space, coming out of that environment, like physically getting out. And sometimes this can be really challenging. So I want to share a few stories with you about this to hopefully inspire you or help you on your healing journey, if you are struggling to get out and to meet people again, and or just to meet yourself again, you know, in an outside environment. So, by the way, I've got no makeup on today. I'm completely au naturel, and completely fresh. So that's great. So what I want to talk to you about, in my first marriage, my ex kept telling me, oh, you're an introvert, and this kept ringing in my mind when I came out of the relationship, because I realized, because I tried to create my life from a perspective of that lie, and I realized I'm not an introvert. I have aspects of being an introvert where I, because I'm an artist and a performer and a writer, and I love to be out there, but I do have those aspects of introvert, but I'm not an introvert in terms of my whole entire life. Now, what made me an introvert was all of the abuse and the putting down and the gaslighting, because you become internalized and then become afraid to share yourself to the people with whom you are around. So then, yes, you become internalized, you become introverted, because essentially you're not safe to come out in that environment. You're not safe to shine and be your magnificent self in that environment, because every time you do, you trigger the trauma in the narcissist who wants to be grandiose and bigger and better than you. And because you're an amazing, incredible empath and exceedingly gifted and loving, you give them benefit of the doubt. By giving them benefit of the doubt, it's like you give a piece of your soul away. You give a piece of your heart away. You give a piece of your essence of who you truly are away, and therefore that door to you starts closing. And that, to me, is what sort of the process of introvertization is, or when we start losing the essence of who we are in these abusive relationships. Now, in my second narcissistic abusive relationship and divorce scenario, it hit in the September of 2020. This is when the relationship separated, and finally, after many years of abuse, actually, now I realise. So in 2020, that was when the full-on lockdowns started to come in that September. And I'm in the northern hemisphere, so this is like, you know, the time of Samhain, the time of, you know, this is like when Halloween hits. It's like, wow, winter's coming in, it's time to go inside. But also we had that extra you got to go inside now thing. And because I was already so broken in a way, like I always say, I'm not broken from the grief of the relationship, because I know now that that relationship was a lie, because it was based on the betrayal of love and not on love. So I went inside, and I had to leave, you know, my house and everything, you know, a complete destabilization, like right at the beginning of lockdown, in losing my home. Fortunately, I had somewhere with a friend where I could stay on their land, and that was amazing because it was incredibly healing. But what happened was, because of the trauma, I found myself becoming really afraid to even show myself to anyone. And I realized that the impact of this second divorce, because I wasn't able to heal properly from the first divorce, the impact of this introvertization hit me even stronger. And my second ex also started saying to me, and I even in the relationship, I was like, this is not right, this is not me. He would be saying, oh, you don't like to go out much, do you? Oh, you're not very sociable, are you? You don't like collaborations, do you? You don't like being with people, do you? And I was thinking, this is not me. Those judgments, those perceptions, they're not me. So something was happening in order for me to be behaving like that. Well, that was the narcissistic abuse. That was hitting me in the place of my heart and making me internalize myself. So I realized, wow, okay, I've totally internalized again because of the abuse and the fear to come out, the fear to express myself, because every time I was expressing the bigness and the greatness of who I was, I would be abused emotionally for it. So this is the impact, and I've just got so much sun shining on me right now. I'm trying to find a place where I can talk to you well. I hope you can see me. So when this hit, I realized, wow, there's this lie going on about being an introvert, but also, you know, I was living in my cabin by the side of the woods at this point, and I realized, wow, I feel like this banished woman, like in these fairy tales, living in this woodland cabin on this land in the middle of, you know, in the middle of the Netherlands. I was there, and I started feeling safe there, but then I realized that something much deeper was going on, that I wasn't actually able to even just step outside of the cabin. And this is when I realized that something much deeper was going on. And at that point, I didn't understand fully all of the symptoms of narcissistic abuse on the victim, let's say. And one of them was agoraphobia. And when I read this and realized the symptom, I was like, wow, oh my God, it's hit me so badly this time. The abuse has been so severe to my internal well-being that it's actually taking me days to even just open the door and get outside, to like step onto the land, you know, where there's like nothing there but horses and plants, you know. So and I realized, wow, I'm actually suffering from agoraphobia here, because I've been diminished so greatly that I'm not able to get out. And I think this is why I'm so passionate about sharing my journey now, because I've come from so far and so deep that no matter how it hits you and no matter where you are on your journey, just to notice all the little symptoms, like where they are playing out in you, all these little symptoms of how the gaslighting has an impact on you, how the flying monkeys have an impact on you, how the soup salads have an impact on you, you know, creating brain fog. and all of these impacts on having your value diminished and annihilated, and you know, all these symptoms, physical symptoms that can come through, and one of them being agoraphobia. Now, what happened, I mean, obviously there was the whole lockdown thing as well, which was you know, actually for me, being in the countryside there, I didn't necessarily notice it because I was so deep in my traumatic process that I really did feel like this banished witch, you know, like, go into the woodlands and never come back, woman. That's what it kind of felt like. But in that, there was a very transformational process. And so I'm always reminded now, as I'm coming out, as I'm coming into these walks, and I'm bringing back the really the small steps of well-being. And some people might think, well, yeah, it's been like 2.5 years already. But what I decided was that this was never going to happen to me again. In one of my other videos, I talk about being strong. And somebody, many people through the divorce saying to me, oh, I wish you strength, I wish you strength. And I was receiving these text messages going, you have no freaking idea how strong I am going to get. And so I decided to take the long route of profoundly deep healing and step by step by step. And part of this is obviously the coming out, but also recognizing the physical impact of agoraphobia. So, and how that is working at the moment is that not only am I coming back to life, I'm coming back into social situations, but not like I did before. I'm actually finding that I don't fit in the life where I fitted before because I've so radically changed and transformed. So I'm coming out and I'm coming back into life, but I'm connecting with a whole different network of people, professionally and socially, even though I would say that I'm actually not that socially active. A little bit of light there. So, but that's okay, because that's where I'm at the moment. And I trust, you know, in this, so much light. Oh. I trust that in this process, I will reconnect again with the new people who are vibrating at the energy level at which I am now shining my light and coming back into life. So these steps of agoraphobia coming out, you know, I totally hear you. If you're having trouble getting out of the house, just take it as your journey. Don't force yourself to do anything, but recognize if you're so afraid to go out, recognize it's not because, well, I can't speak for you. Everybody has their own balance of introvertism and extrovertism within themselves. So I encourage you to find, like, where is that balance? Where do I come out and display myself as, you know, the peacock that I am? And where do I come inside to myself and be the bear that I am within myself and within the holiness of my sacred cave within? And to find that balance, you know, between outside and inside, you know, winter and summer, the day and the night, and where is that balance within you? And so if you're suffering from agoraphobia right now, or you're recognizing, wow, the impact of your narcissistic abusive relationship is meaning that you don't want to go out of the house, or you don't want to see people, just bring awareness to this and bring compassion to yourself to know that you're on a journey of healing this. And you've gone so deep inside, which means that an incredible transformational journey is available for you, because you've turned so deeply inside that you're even afraid to go outside because you're so deeply inside, which means that there's some really profound deep healing going on. That's how I've interpreted my journey. So I've allowed myself to honor, wow, I'm so deep inside that actually it's difficult for me to get outside. And when I start working with a higher level of consciousness on all of these things and all of these symptoms, because I started realizing I cannot work with anything if I just think, oh, if I put a label on myself, oh, now I'm agoraphobic, now I've got cptsd, now I've got fibromyalgia, now, you know, I've got like hyper stress syndrome, you know, all of these things because of the result of the abuse. Well, that happened to me and I can heal from it. So I turned it around, and rather than labeling myself and saying, well, this is how I am now because of the abuse, I realized, wow, this is part of my journey to go deep so that I can understand more greatly about myself. And the agoraphobia is teaching me to see how incredibly amazing I am inside, because once you face those things, it's also teaching me to see, what have I not seen before? What parts of my childhood are unhealed? What parts of, you know, the memories from me being bullied as a child and practically all through my life, how has that impacted me today, and how have I not seen that? And this is where I took on the shamanic journeying and the somatic work, to really heal myself from the inside out and to bring myself out. So the agoraphobia, be gentle with yourself. Know that it's part of your journey of becoming the most incredible, powerful person that you are becoming. And I encourage, invite, or inspire you to turn it round and know that it's part of your journey, because then you can start working with it. Then you can start realizing, wow, I am not agoraphobic. This agoraphobic energy of complete internalization is asking me to heal right now, is asking me to see those parts that are so painful that I haven't been able to heal before, for me to do the internal work in them, so that then I can start stepping out of myself, stepping back into my life, stepping out of the house, stepping back into nature, or wherever it is, however you're experiencing it, at a greater level at which I was ever before. And so this is the invitation, and this is like, this is how I started working with it. You know, I had nobody to really teach me how to do this, but I realized, you know, like I was, you know, in the woods on my own. I had to teach myself how to get through these experiences, realizing that I was on a very, very profound journey. So lots of love to you, and I hope that this inspires you if you're going through challenges in bringing yourself back to life authentically. Like I said, everybody has their own journey. Everybody's hit by the narcissistic abuse in a different way. Some people, you know, different people, you will go through your healing journey however you did. My way was to really choose to see absolutely everything so that this would never happen to me again. And, you know, we're all on our different life paths and deal with things in a completely different way. And all of that is fine. If some people, you know, can heal in 6 months and move on to different lives, that's great. Other people, it could take, you know, a few years, other people 10 years. I was told that true deep healing from narcissistic abuse can take about 10 years. And I was saying to myself, this is not, I'm not gonna be ruled by this for another 10 years. But I can understand, because it happens so, it hits so deeply, you know, if you don't heal this, we carry this forward unconsciously into our other relationships, or we become shut off from, you know, like I say, I'm a woman, so I talk about it from a woman's perspective, become shut off from the opposite sex. And I knew, because I'd done enough work already on myself, that through this process, I did not want to become bitter or shut down towards men, not at all. And that was the challenge, like, to love and trust in the masculine, despite being driven to annihilation by the masculine. And this is the ferocity of my journey. So I had to go that deep in, and then to start working with these physical impacts, so that you can work with them in a way that enables you to come out, but on a completely new, transformed level. So I hope this has been inspiring for you today. It's been lovely to talk to you again. And yeah, check out my Etsy shop. I've got a journal in there called the Blood Moon Journal. If you are looking to deepen your connection to how you can work with your body wisdom as woman. And it goes beyond tracking your periods. It goes deeper into you understanding where you are at in your cycle, but also you journeying with what is arising within you. And so I've tried to translate some of the way in which I work into a journal format so that you can work more deeply with your body. And working through these cycles really enables you, because of the wisdom of your body as a woman, to accelerate your healing and accelerate your journeying and your commitment to you and your journeying, and use that wisdom of your body to accelerate your own healing. So you can check out that, and I'm building that at the moment because I'm rebuilding everything. So it's a big reconstruction process, and that's okay. So yeah, check that out, and the links will be below. Like and subscribe, and I look forward to sharing with you again. And in the meantime, really know how incredibly magnificent you are, and whatever you're going through right now, you're going to come through it. You're going to come through it leading with the wisdom of your body, the wisdom of your higher consciousness, and the integrity and the profundity of the power of your heart, because you're going to come out of this intact. I did, and I'm doing it, and this is why I'm sharing my journey with you. So lots of love, have a beautiful day, and power to you.